All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are diving into 20 habits that do way more than just, improve your day. These are habits designed to fundamentally change the standard you set for yourself. So let's jump in. This quote really nails the whole idea, doesn't it? We're not talking about some quick fix or an overnight miracle. Nope. This is about slowly, deliberately raising your own personal standard. Think about it. Once that standard, what you expect from yourself, changes, your life literally has no choice but to rise up and meet it. Okay, so where do we even begin with all this? Well, it all starts in the morning. This first batch of habits is all about grabbing control of your day the second you wake up. It's about shifting from just reacting to whatever the world throws at you to intentionally setting your own course. Let's break this routine down step by step. First up, wake in silence. This means you give yourself a few minutes with your own thoughts before the world starts screaming for your attention. Step 2, create order. And it's as simple as making your bed. It sounds small, I know, but it's an immediate win that sets a tone of discipline for the whole day. Third, and this one's a big one, choose discomfort. That splash of cold water on your face, it does more than just wake you up, it basically burns away your excuses. And finally, start with intention. You need to decide what your day is about before you even look at your phone. Put them all together, and these steps build a serious foundation of control. So, having an intentional morning, that's a super powerful start, for sure. But, and this is a big but, it's what you do during the day that turns those good intentions into actual reality. And that brings us right to our next set of habits, which are all about disciplined execution. Yeah, this part is all about action. First, you've got to practice deep work. So what does that really mean? It means one task. Period. No multitasking, no easy escape routes like checking your phone. Next, build physical strength. You have to remind yourself with every single rep that strength isn't something you find, it's something you train for. Then, you got to keep the promises you make to yourself, even the tiny ones. Why? Because that's where real self-confidence comes from. And last but not least, protect your focus. Look, you just can't be available to everyone, everywhere, all the time and expect to get anything meaningful done. It's impossible. Of course, high performance isn't just about being disciplined. It's about having the right fuel in the tank. So this next section is all about the habits that nourish both your body and your mind. You have to think of them as the engine for everything else you're trying to do.
Now, just think about this for a second. How can you improve what you don't measure? So many of us feel like we're stuck, not making progress, but are we actually tracking our efforts? This simple question leads to a really powerful idea.
And here it is, the principle in action. What gets measured gets improved. It's that simple. If you want to get better with your time, your energy, your focus, anything really, you have to start by measuring it. Tracking is always the first step. You just can't manage what you don't measure.
And this, right here, perfectly illustrates a choice we're all making every single day with food. Are you eating for cravings or are you eating for energy? Is it about that short-term hit of satisfaction or are you fueling yourself for the long haul? The idea here is that energy is your most valuable currency, and every meal you're choosing how to spend it. Okay, let's round out this section on fuel. First, make it a point to learn something new every day. And this isn't just about cramming more facts in your head. It's about actively challenging your old beliefs. Second, journaling. You gotta unload that mental weight. Getting your thoughts down on paper literally frees up space in your mind for clearer thinking. And finally, the one we all forget, hydrate. It's so simple, but a hydrated mind is just a sharper, more effective mind. End of story.
We put so much emphasis on how you start the day, but how you end your day is just as important. So this final active phase is all about winding down with purpose, looking back on what you did, and getting yourself ready for a great day tomorrow.
This is so simple, but man, is it powerful. Motion changes emotion. Think about it. At the end of a long day, when your energy is just shot, the absolute last thing you feel like doing is moving, right? But that's exactly the fix. Get up, take a short walk, do a few stretches. Any kind of physical motion can totally shift your emotional state almost instantly.
So when nighttime comes, try not to just distract yourself from the quiet. Instead, face the silence. Give yourself a chance to actually process the day. And before you fall asleep, take a moment to acknowledge your progress. Seriously, it doesn't have to be some massive win. Sometimes, just getting through the day is progress. And finally, respect your environment. A clean space really does help create a clear mind.
Okay, so we've covered habits for the morning, the day, and the night. But these last few, These are the foundation. They're the bedrock. They represent the ultimate standard we're talking about, taking 100% ownership of your inner world and the direction of your life.
This right here illustrates a really critical shift that has to happen on the inside. For so many of us, that voice in our head is a harsh judge, right? It's constantly criticizing everything we do. The goal of this habit is to transform that voice into an inner friend, one that actually supports you, encourages you, and helps guide you, especially when you mess up.
And here it is, the final and maybe the most powerful habit of them all. It's the understanding that responsibility for your life cannot be handed off to someone else. It can't be transferred. Whatever you want to build, whatever change you want to see in your life, you are the one who has to build it. That is the ultimate standard. So after going through all these powerful habits, now the real work begins. And look, the goal is not to try and do all of these at once. That's a recipe for failure. It's just about choosing one. Seriously, just one. So the question for you is, to change your standard, what will be your first habit?